विदेश में काले धन के खिलाफ कार्रवाई का क्या असर हो रहा है, इसकी गवाही स्विस बैंक के ताजे आंकड़ों से मिल रही है।
Swiss bank deposits by Indians increased to 286% in 2020 in comparison to 2019.
The issue of alleged black money in Swiss banks has been a political hot potato in India and was also one of the most discussed topics during the 2014 general elections and even years after that. Switzerland's central bank says that funds parked by Indians in Swiss banks have increased on a massive scale. However, the Indian government has denied this. Good evening, you're watching Fact of the Matter with Navya Singh. Money held by Indians in Swiss banks has always garnered a lot of interest to people in India. Too often, this money in Swiss banks is associated with black money that finds its way out of India and stashed abroad. So is all the money parked or deposited in the Swiss bank black money? Here are some important facts about Swiss money of Indians that can take us closer to the answer. Fact number 1. Funds held by Indian individuals and firms in Swiss banks jumped to 2.5 billion Swiss francs, which is about 20,000 crores in 2020. This figure is the highest in 13 years. Now, what are the benefits that Swiss banks offer and why is it so famous among Indians and others across the world?
I like Switzerland. They respect the man's privacy here, particularly if he has a fortune.
This brings us to fact number 2. Well, the advantages include low levels of financial risk and high levels of privacy that they offer. The Swiss economy is considered to be one of the most stable in the world and has not been involved in any sort of conflicts in hundreds of years. Furthermore, Swiss law also requires that banks have high capital requirements and strong depositor protection, which ensures that any deposits will be safe from financial crisis and conflict. In 2006, Indian deposits stood at a record high of 6.5 billion Swiss francs, which is more than 52,000 crore rupees, following which it has mostly experienced a downward trend except for a few years. At 20,700 crore rupees, the funds have jumped by more than 286% since 2019. This jump has reversed a 2-year declining trend. Now, it would be incorrect to say that all the money deposited by Indians in Swiss banks is black money, given the robust exchange of information and details between the Swiss government and the Indian government. An automatic exchange of information in tax-related matters between Switzerland and India has been in force since 2018. Detailed financial information on all Indian residents who have accounts with Swiss financial institutions since 2018 was provided for the first time to Indian tax authorities in 2019, and this is to be followed every year. Switzerland has also been sharing details about accounts of Indians suspected to have indulged in financial wrongdoings after submission of evidence. Strict rules and transparency in information have reduced chances of black money being deposited or parked in Swiss banks. In addition to the information exchange, the Indian government has also imposed the stringent Black Money, Undisclosed Foreign Income and Assets and Imposition of Tax Act 2015. This act aims to curb black money or undisclosed foreign assets and income and also imposes a penalty on such income. Swiss authorities have also time and again extended support to India in its fight against tax fraud and evasion. So, are there any legitimate ways of depositing money in foreign banks? Well, yes. Some deposits in Swiss banks can also belong to non-resident Indians or NRIs and those who had earlier held an Indian passport but are now foreign passport holders and are therefore not liable to pay tax in India. In such cases, the funds are legitimate. Now, what does the Indian government have to say about these reports? The Indian government has refuted and dismissed all these reports, claiming that Indians were allegedly holding black money in Switzerland or in Swiss banks, and has also said that it has reached out to Swiss authorities to verify the details about the deposits. The Finance Ministry has asserted that Indian customer deposits in Swiss banks have fallen since 2019. Now, under global pressure over the recent years, Switzerland has opened its banking system for regulatory scrutiny from abroad, and it also entered into automatic exchange of information with several countries like India. In 2019, no Indian Swiss bank account holder came forward to claim at least 300 crore rupees that were lying in about 10 Swiss bank accounts linked to Indians, leaving the funds at the risk of getting transferred to the Switzerland government. In 2015, the Switzerland government released details of the dormant accounts to allow their claimants to submit necessary documents and proof to get access to their funds, which included around a dozen accounts linked to Indians. India was placed at the 51st spot for foreign clients' money in Swiss banks. The countries for which Swiss banks reported a decline in amounts due to clients included the US and the UK, while the money parked by individuals and enterprises from Bangladesh also declined during 2020. However, the amount almost doubled in the case of Pakistan. Indian government has sought details from Swiss authorities, and this exchange of information is expected to take us closer to the menace of black money found offshore.